What's going on, everybody out there? This is Grand Prix GTP02 here once more up here at Humble Hyundai here in North Houston, Texas. And today, for y'all's viewing pleasure and entertainment, I am extremely excited and genuinely pleased that we are finally able to bring you guys what many would consider to be the biggest bargain in the world of executive, luxury-laden, full-size sedans. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet the 2015 Hyundai Equus. Now, I know many of you guys who have been with my channel so far have been constantly bombarding me with comments and or requests to finally put an Equus on the channel, and I'm genuinely excited to finally be exploring an Equus with you guys today. Now, I know this car's been out since 2010, and I'm genuinely shocked that we haven't been able to get our hands on one, but nevertheless, it's finally here, so let's get to exploring. Now, first and foremost, the Equus comes pretty much in 3 different camps. I personally say it comes in 2 different camps, but neither here nor there. You can get the car as a base, a signature, or finally as the top-end ultimate. Now, of course, being the ultimate, that car pretty much throws in every single option that you would find on a business class luxury jet. But neither here nor there, this one here is a Equus signature. This is the mid-level trim, or what most would consider to be the lower end trim of the Equus lineup. But don't let that fool you, because the biggest selling point for the whole of the Equus is its pricing point. Dollar for dollar, this car is, again, probably the biggest bargain that you will find on the modern day luxury car market when it comes to this particular segment of the automotive industry. Now, usually people who buy cars like this, they're looking for one thing, or one of several things. They want something quiet, they want something ultra refined and luxurious, and most of all, they want something that is going to actually cost them a fair few dollars, because let's face it, people who buy cars like this have usually made it pretty big in the world, and they want to make that status known. And now, usually when people go to buy a car like this, they usually aim for the Europeans or even a couple of cars from Japan. And Hyundai is here to prove that luxury doesn't have to cost 6 figures in order to have all the top-end amenities that most luxury car buyers like this would expect. Now, this car goes up against some pretty stiff competition. You're talking cars like the Lexus LS 460, the Audi A8, the BMW 7 Series, and finally the mega heavy hitter of this division itself, the Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Now, unlike all of those cars, this car's price point tops out at $72,000, which to most of us who don't make that much money, that sounds like a fairly hefty chunk of change. But when you compare it to the over 6-figure price tag of most of the European and Japanese competitors, this car is definitely a bargain on 4 wheels. Now, for a start, the looks are definitely genuinely Hyundai. You really don't see a car that looks like this on the road anywhere else. And it's always great to see everyone else's reactions to this car when they pull up next to it and they ask the driver, what kind of car is that? Now, if you say it's an Equus, you're pretty much going to confuse everybody. And you're going to confuse them even more when you tell them that it's a Hyundai Equus. And they're going, there's no way that's a Hyundai, because, as you can see, there is no Hyundai badge on the back. That badge right there on the front and rear end of this vehicle is totally unique to this particular vehicle in and of itself. It's very much like what Hyundai did with the Genesis, with its nice little sort of Bentley-style winged logo. Now, me personally, when I first clapped eyes on this thing, it really does look like sort of a altered Mercedes S-Class. And I say that in the nicest of possible ways, because comparing a car to pretty much the benchmark of the vehicle that set a lot of the safety standards, that set a lot of the top-end luxury car options and so on, is definitely a big ask. But I definitely think that the Equus has done it, and definitely in dramatic fashion. Now, most people say that this design is pretty old. Again, since this car has been out since 2010, it has actually gone through quite a few changes. For a start, let's look up front. Up front, the car really kind of remains the same. It has the standard high-intensity discharge and LED backlit projector headlights. Also, the LED accents and LED turn signals down here in the lower part of the front fascia. You also have front and rear parking assist sensors. And also, if this car were an Ultimate, this little black portion here in the middle of this chrome-laden grille would actually have a small little camera in it. And there's a buy mode button that you can push on the navigation screen inside that will allow you to see out the front end of the vehicle. And again, you can see here on the badge, the Equus nameplate, totally unique again to this vehicle. And it really does have a big amount of presence to this car. There's just so much about it that really screams, I want to make a luxury car statement, and I really think that Hyundai has really done it. Now, the biggest change that you're going to find on this 2015 compared to some of those used earlier models is under the hood. The older cars had the 4.6 liter Tau series double overhead cam 32 valve V8. Now, that engine did not feature gasoline direct fuel injection at any point in time. However, now this car features the massive 5 liter direct injected Tau series V8. Now, that engine produces 429 horsepower and 390 pound-feet of torque, which is definitely more than enough grunt to move this car down the road in spectacular fashion. Now, compared to, say, the A8 or the Mercedes-Benz or cars like that, this car is never going to be equipped with any massive 10 or 12-cylinder engine in order to move all the grunt. The 5-liter V8 does that plentifully. Now, when you heard me compare this car to a corporate jet earlier, one of the things that I've always thought is that these wheels here always look like the turbine blades from a jet engine. If you were to look at an airplane's jet engine, you see how it's got these angled fins on each spoke of the wheel, and it really does look like the front end of a jet engine, except without the nice little cone sticking off of the front. Now, these are 19-inch hyper silver finished aluminum alloy wheels. They ride on Continental Conti Pro Contact summer performance tires. You can put winter tires or all seasons on this car, but nevertheless, it is definitely one of the key things that makes this car a real executive force of nature. Now, coming around to the back, I definitely like the back end presence of this car. You can see where they've kind of taken cues from some of the other big luxury car nameplates with those triangular aluminum tipped exhaust. You have the full LED taillights with these giant LED bars running across the middle of the light and LED turn signals and reverse lights. Not to mention, you can also see the reverse parking assist sensors that go across the rear end of the vehicle. You've also got your backup camera hidden just above the license plate. And overall, even though this car is a mid-level trim, it really does provide that presence that most full-size executive car buyers will come to expect. Now, of course, being a gadget-laden luxury car, this thing is packed with all sorts of technology, and most of which you can't see on the outside. From the outside, it just looks like a big, expensive luxury car. But for a start, I have the proximity key fob here. It's sitting in my pocket. When you walk up to the vehicle, if you walk within a certain distance of it, the car will actually recognize the key fob, and as you can see, the car's locked right now, as noted by the mirrors being extended inwards. But once you walk up to the vehicle with the key fob with you, you can see that the car automatically detects your proximity key fob within a certain proximity to the door. Also, as you can see on these power extending mirrors, they also do have full LED and chrome trimmed turn signals. But then, of course, you have the proximity key fob. You have the small button here on the door. As you can see, if I grab the door handle, that automatically unlocks it. Then if you just hit the black button, that automatically locks the vehicle. And as you can see, the mirrors will automatically tilt inward. Very much a signature trademark of gadget-laden luxury vehicles such as this. Now, this example we have here is finished in this gorgeous Parisian gray metallic and combined with a jet black ultra premium leather interior. Now, of course, you can get a couple different choices when it comes to the leather upholstery in this vehicle. All of the Equus line is standard with leather upholstery, so you will not find anything like cloth seats or even sort of semi-skimmed leather seating in this vehicle. Even on the signature trim, this car has got every single option known to man. For a start, let's look here on the door. You can see you got a small felt-lined storage pocket down here at the base of the door. You've got all 4 automatic windows, and these also have power retracting sunshades that can be added to the rear end of the vehicle to perhaps sort of shroud you from the paparazzi if you're one of those type of people. You have the auto folding mirrors, as you just saw earlier, the rest of your power mirror controls, including left and right functions, electronic window locks, power door locks, as I said, your power windows, your matte finished aluminum trim door handles, and also a 2-person memory power adjustable multi-way driver seat. Now, this one here also includes a power extender sort of at the front of the seat. As you can see, the whole bottom cushion automatically moves forward. And that's all accessed by that top little trigger up there. As you can see down below, you also have multi-way powered lumbar support, Also, you have these optional aluminum polished aluminum sill plates here. Again, the Equus logo can be illuminated. And also you've got this sort of dark cherry burlwood trim here on each of the doors, and it runs across the whole length of the dash. Now again, depending on which interior color choice you pick, your wood color may also vary just a little bit. But in terms of the materials, this car is top notch. It really does feel like a Mercedes. You've got this nice, soft, supple leather going right here across the top of the door, the stitched leather running across the door panels. You've also got padded leather with, again, more stitching running around all of your controls and here on your armrest. And you've also got this nice satin silver trim that runs across certain areas of the interior. Now this car also has a Lexicon premium surround sound stereo system, if you can read that. And that is a feature only available on the Genesis and also the Equus. Then of course you have your multi-way power adjustable heated steering wheel. You've got the heating function down here just behind the wheel itself. Then of course you have your power tilt and telescoping functions. Then over here, just to the left of the steering column, you've got your blind spot indication system, or BLIS. You've got your parking distance control, which you can turn on or off. Then of course you also have traction control, instrument dimming, your electronic parking brake, and also your trunk release. Now stepping inside of the Equus, it is a very, very big car once you step inside. And once you've actually unlocked the vehicle, and I guess I might have to do it again because it may not do it this time since we unlocked it using the door, but you get this beautiful little electroluminescent display. If you get the Ultimate package, this can be turned into a thin film transistor display. I believe it's 12.3 inches from corner to corner. It's over a foot wide from corner to corner, and it really does add that nice little touch. But once you get inside, once you've unlocked the vehicle, you get that typical little sort of Hyundai-esque kind of greeting. You can see they've put that into a lot of their cars if you watch the reviews we've done on Hyundai vehicles before. And in here, there is a button, a dial, a screen. There's just something for every kind of control you can possibly imagine. Let's look right here on the steering wheel. For a start, you've got more of that polished wood trim on the sort of 12 and 6 o'clock positions, mostly across the upper rim here. Again, the signature Equus logo. You have your volume controls, cruise control functions, your active cruise control functions, your lane keep assist, and hands-free Bluetooth connectivity. Here in the center, you've got a standard 8-inch touchscreen multifunction display. Now you can either use this as a touchscreen or you can use the whole control station down here, sort of Audi-esque or Audi-like. Audi, of course, the Germans being one of the first to use a control station like this. A lot of luxury cars have it nowadays. You've got heated and cooled seats, and we'll show you that here in a minute. You've got ride adjustment. You've got a power adjustable rear curtain that goes across the rear window and can be lowered once the car is put into reverse. You've got Hyundai Blue Link, you've got your destination, map, voice, and so on and so forth. Now it is absolutely burning hot in this vehicle, so let's go ahead and actually power it up before we explore the rest of this. Being that it does have standard push button ignition, so you just put your foot on the brake, keep the key fob within the vehicle, then you've got this beautiful black and silver illuminated engine start button on the dash, and just hit it to fire up the engine. And again, what you're hearing is that 5-liter direct injected Tau Series V8. It makes a wonderful noise once it starts. And as you can see, you get this beautiful Equus logo and greeting here on your navigation screen. But as far as the motor goes, it's definitely a very butter smooth power plant. It really doesn't take much to introduce some gas into the engine. Now, of course, the graphics and sort of text on the screen, very much typical Hyundai. The font seems to be the same whether you're in an Equus or in an Accent. I already can feel the car kind of adjusting itself. It feels like the suspension's adjusting itself already. Let's go ahead and see how the ride adjusts, see if it... Yep, I can feel the back end of the car kind of rising up. Now I felt the front do the same. So actually, if we look at the outside of it, you can see that the car has actually gained a little bit in terms of its ride height. And you can actually turn that off. It is a self-adjustable suspension, so let's turn that off now. Let's see what it does. Now you can feel the whole car sink back down, the whole adjustable air suspension. As you can see, it even comes up here on your vehicle height. Go ahead and put it back down to normal. See if you can watch it. should go right back down to the ground. Anyways, more about the center console here. Again, there is a button, a switch, a dial. There is something for everything in this car, but what makes it so awesome compared to like a Mercedes or something is the fact that everything has a button, but it's all very legible, very easy to read. You've got your dual zone, or actually a tri-zone climate control system. You've got controls in the back of the vehicle, and you'll see that here in a bit. You have the climate button, which allows you to see everything inside the interior here. You've got your tri-zone mode, air conditioning introduction, climate button, air conditioning modes for the front and rear of the vehicle, automatic air recycling. You've got an automatic AC, your fan speed, AC off, and of course standard front and rear defrosters. Then of course down here you've got the Lexicon stereo system. Now this vehicle here also does come standard with XM satellite radio. Let's go ahead and turn it to something that's not Spanish. Turn it to our favorite station here. Definitely a very wonderful sounding stereo system, especially for surround sound. You've got a nice little lower storage compartment here. This is all lined in felt, and it does house your iPod USB and auxiliary inputs. You've also got your standard cup holder, and in this case you've got this nice little kind of change holder here, embroidered with a nice little bit of polished silver or satin silver, and also with the Equus logo embedded in it. That is a Hyundai accessory. That doesn't come with every car, but you can get it through the Hyundai accessories catalog. Now, with that 5-liter TAL V8, this car comes with the 8-speed Shift-tronic automatic transmission. You can choose to use the gears manually. It does have the manual shift mode, as you can see up there on the dash. It also does come with the reverse camera, as I said before. Once you put the car in reverse, you'll see that the mirrors automatically tilt up and down. So I'll put it back in park. You can see the mirror tilt up, put it in reverse, the mirror tilts down. You can also select a top view. So if you want to use the control station, as you can see, it looks down. And you actually have to use the control station more often than not anyways. Go ahead and put it back in park, and as you can see, the shifter is trimmed in a beautiful piece of leather. You got this satin silver running around, and then the Equus logo right front and center, almost three-dimensional or holographic, all trailing off into a leather shift boot. Now this does have an auto brake hold as well. It's kind of a hill brake control. If that's on and your foot slips off the brake, say if you're on a hill facing an upward incline, it will hold the car in place. Then you also have drive mode. Drive mode, of course, you have choice between sport, snow, normal, and that's it. Now snow is kind of the obvious one, set for wintry conditions. Sport, it increases your transmission mapping, your throttle mapping, your steering input, and so on. Then of course you have normal, which is pretty much right slap bang in the middle. Now as far as everything else goes, you've got this beautiful Alcantara headliner up here. It's kind of a micro suede. I don't think it's genuine Alcantara, but it does feel as such. You've got these awesome LED door lights here. You turn the door lights on, you can see they automatically appear, room lights and so on, kind of ambient lighting. Then of course you've got this beautiful sunroof that opens up just at the flick of a switch. Nice and hefty for a sunroof visor as well. You can see more sunglasses storage. Then also you've got hands-free home link, your SOS button, your power compass, and also Hyundai Blue Link up top. Now as far as the control station itself, like I said, you can get heated and cooled seats. You just turn them on at a flick of a switch. There's 3 stages each. You've got home, hands-free Bluetooth, the back button, different menus and pages, map, and so on and so forth. Then you've got this awesome split level center console here. You got more 120 watt 12 volt outlets here in the center, separate storage, and that all is lined with felt and topped with this beautiful black supple leather. As far as the seats go, they are absolutely amazing, and as you can see, even on this power seat here, this one can be moved forward or backward via the rear passengers. The driver's seat, that doesn't happen, it's only for the passenger seat, but you can power recline the seat and also move it back and forth from the comfort of the rear seats of the vehicle. And speaking of the rear seats, that's where we're going next. So let's go ahead and roll down the window, jump in the back. a nice big heavy thunk to the door when you close it. Just listen. Sounds just like a Mercedes. Whoops. My mistake. Didn't unlock the rest of it. Now, as far as the rear doors go, it's definitely like a limousine. The doors on this car are absolutely enormous. Again, more of the soft leather going across the top here. You've got the padded leather on the door panels. Just pretty much everywhere. You've got a nice little ashtray here in the back. Your up and down window controls. You can actually control both windows at the same time if you want, and that goes for either side of the vehicle. Let's say you're sitting on the left-hand side, you want to control both your left and right-hand side windows. It gives you switches for both of those, and it also includes the nice wood veneer trim and satin silver as well. Then getting into the back seat, it's pretty much what you'd expect of a luxury limousine. You've got leather padded mat pockets here in the back. You've got these indentations and very soft leather padding. It's not plastic here on the back of the seats, but this car's big party piece is the whole thing right here in the center. The center console folds out and gives you this huge control station here that gives you access to things like the car's radio. You can control it from the back seat. So let's say you don't want to ask your driver or whatever, because that's how most people will ride in these things. You don't want to ask your driver to turn on the radio or anything. You simply flip down the center console and away you go. You've got your tri-stage heated seats for both of the rear seats, left and right. You can control the rear air conditioning, which is this LCD screen down here. And then of course, like I said, a power reclining rear seat. If you want to relax, you just hit relax, and watch as the driver, or the passenger seat rather, goes all the way forward, and it'll stay like that. Once that stops, you can see that the full passenger seat automatically tilts and reclines back, and it pretty much turns into a little bed. Then you can just hit return and it'll do the same thing. As you can see, the passenger seat is already on its way back to its normal position. Now, this one here is not like the old one. It doesn't have any sort of a ice box or refrigerator in here. If you were to get an Equus Ultimate from about 2010 to 2011, you could actually have the option of a fridge in here inside of a fixed center console. So this one is a lot more practical than the older ones, and again, it carries the same amount of luxury you can expect. Also, you've got fully adjustable headrest. You can see they conform to your head, kind of like the pillow you would get on an airplane, or a headrest that you get on an airplane. Absolutely amazing. And also you can see you can fully adjust your seat via the controls up here on the door, and the same goes for the right side passenger. Now, if you were to get this car as an Ultimate, you would be able to have a power assisted trunk, but this one is just a simple trunk release mechanism right back here in the back, if I can find it. There you go. And in typical full-size luxury vehicle fashion, you get a massive rear trunk. Again, those seats do not fold down, so pretty much whatever space you got here in the back is what you're going to have to deal with. Nevertheless, though, that's still quite a sizable trunk for a full-size car. And everything here closes with this really, really soft thunk. It really sounds like a top-end luxury car. Just listen. Doesn't sound heavy, doesn't sound, you know, thick. It just, nice, big, soft thunk. Now, if any of you out there are actually able to afford one of these, I encourage everybody to come out here to Humble Hyundai to take a look at one of these cars. We don't have very many on the ground now, but if we don't have one here, we can always source one for you. And of course, I've included the link to the new Equus inventory in the description box below, along with all of the information for anybody who wants to come by and take a look at one of these beautiful vehicles. Just love that dashboard. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Stepping into the passenger side of the vehicle, again, tons of room, lots of leg room. Glove box lined in felt in typical full-size luxury vehicle fashion. And this dashboard, all this satin silver, it feels plasticky, but again, the whole dashboard is covered in stitched leather, typical of what you'd expect in a big car like this. You've got this wicked great speaker up here. That's where that nice little entry chime came out of, you know, the one that you saw on the screen over there. And just overall, it's an amazing vehicle. And finally, last but not least, as the car beeps away, seeing that I have the key fob in my pocket. Let's take a quick look under the hood. Now, like I said, the Equus is available with only one engine. Beforehand, it came with a 4.6 liter double overhead cam V8, but this one here houses Hyundai's 5 liter dual overhead cam, 32 valve, gasoline direct fuel injected V8 with 429 horsepower and almost 400 pound-foot of torque. I think it's 390 pound-feet. The fuel efficiency numbers, although nobody really cares about that with a car like this, about 15 city, 23 highway, about the same as a 5 liter Genesis. And this car can only come available with rear wheel drive. You can find all wheel drive maybe in other countries, but as far as here in the US, this car only comes available with rear wheel drive. And this engine can actually be run on either 87 or 93 octane gas, but again, people don't really care about fuel economy and fuel types and all that in this vehicle. It's really more about the full-size luxury experience, which this car definitely does provide. But there you go, guys, a full-on, well-rounded look at a 2015 Hyundai Equus Signature. I hope you guys have enjoyed this well-rounded walkthrough, and I plan on bringing you many more of these little walkthroughs as we go along. And I'm definitely thankful to Humble Hyundai for finally turning over the keys to one of these cars to us today. And if you guys want to find out any more information about any of Humble Hyundai's inventory, you just go to humblehyundai.com. You can click on either the new vehicles or the pre-owned vehicles if you fancy maybe something a little cheaper. But nevertheless, I hope you guys have enjoyed this walkthrough. And for those of you interested in the price tag, it's all included on the website. Hope you guys have enjoyed the tour. Have a great day, and I will see you guys later.